just drove from London to Umbria and had quite a good time documenting my travels. We made the journey in our 1990 Land Rover Defender, which definitely came with its own problems, but made for a really memorable journey. So we did the trip in 8 days in total. Driving wise, I think it's definitely feasible to do in 2 days. We didn't drive too intensely. I don't think we drove over 4 hours on any one day, which meant that we had a really nice balance of moving to different places, transitioning, experiencing the road, and also getting to enjoy the different places without feeling like we were rushing. So I have split our journey into 5 different videos. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's quite a nice way to break up the different chapters of the journey, which all felt so distinct. It is kind of incredible how diverse Europe is, even just 2 countries in the space of 8 days. So we started our trip, obviously, in London and ended up in Umbria in central Italy. First stop on our travels, we made it into northern France, into Champagne, where we stayed in a city called Reims. Very beautiful. I can't wait to show you. We then spent the next day exploring Champagne before heading further south into Burgundy, where we spent the night in Dijon. Another stunning city. Wish we could have stayed there longer, but onwards to the Alps. So the 3rd chapter took us through the Mont Blanc tunnel into the Italian Alps, where we stayed in a beautiful little town called La Salle in the Aosta Valley. And then, because we wanted to balance out the snow with the sea, we headed down to the Mediterranean and took the road on the west coast of Italy, so through Liguria, and we spent a couple of nights in a beautiful town called Santa Margherita Ligure. Last chapter, we spent 1 night in Florence. A little bit of culture, to catch up with some friends, before driving into the rural heart of Italy, where I am now in Umbria. For anyone thinking of doing anything similar, this was such a cool experience. I could not recommend it more. It's a really lovely mix of culture, food, different landscapes, nature if you're into that. I genuinely feel like we ticked every box. But 8 days was definitely a really nice length of time. So prepping for the trip. Not the most sexy part, but I will quickly tell you a little bit about what I did before starting the journey. First things first was making sure our car was up to the journey. I'm sure most people would do this and be a bit more sensible and drive a speedy, modern car that could get from A to B without the fear of breaking down. We didn't do that. We went old school. So we had to pass our MOT and get a Land Rover service before we left. Not without glitches. We failed our MOT initially, and then when I took it to the Land Rover garage to fix the wobbly steering wheel and the seatbelt issue that had caused the MOT failure, they then unearthed a whole host of other problems. More crucial, engine-related problems. But anyway, passed the MOT, that was great. Next thing that's important to organise before you go to Europe is making sure that your car is road safe for Europe. This is really easy. You can literally just buy an EU travel kit, which you have in your car with you at all times and covers all the bases. So it comes with things like a high-vis jacket, a first aid kit, important headlight dimmers, which kind of re-divert the UK directed headlights so that you don't blind oncoming traffic, and a UK sticker, which is quite fun to stick on the back of your car. Next part of the planning was plotting out our route. We knew that there were certain places that we wanted to stop off at, Champagne being 1, the Alps being 2, and the Ligurian coast being 3. We were kind of open to what we did in between, but those were the 3 essentials. So then it was a case of breaking down the drive into what felt like manageable chunks in an old rumbling Land Rover, which doesn't go over 65 miles an hour. Then, of course, accommodation. We did a mix of hotels and Airbnbs. Personally, I really recommend this mix because there's something really nice about just checking into your own place, not having to interact with anyone after a long day in the car, and maybe just popping to the local market, buying some ingredients and cooking your own dinner. It feels quite homely. It's quite a nice way to do it. But on the other hand, obviously, it's also really lovely to stay at a hotel. So we stayed in hotels in La Salle in the Alps and in Santa Margherita. And lastly, I didn't want to be too rigid on the food front, but I did do research in each city and I created a Google Maps list of restaurants, bars, cafes that I might want to go to depending on my mood. It's quite hard to know how you're going to be feeling after a long day of driving, so I think being flexible is quite an important thing. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now. You will see everything we got up to as you follow along and watch the different videos. Any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments. I am so more than happy to advise, answer questions if I can. I'm no expert, but I can tell you from my experience. So I'm looking forward to taking you along with us.
I sensed that was the garage.
Good morning. I have just arrived in Folkestone at the Shuttle check-in. Been driving for a couple of hours from London. Nice early departure. I didn't say hello when I set off because I was in a bit of a rush to beat the morning traffic and was kind of half asleep still. So I have just checked in, had a security check and passport control, and we're now boarding. I'm so intrigued. I have no idea what this vehicle is going to look like. It's a shuttle, so like a train? When I was younger, I genuinely thought that it was clear glass on top and that you could see like fish and stuff underneath, which is, let's not talk about it, ridiculously stupid. But I have been intrigued my whole life by what this shuttle entails. This vehicle here is what we're getting into, I think. So it's basically like a train.
I think walking through this section, like
from my belly and my joy.
Hey, we have encountered our first Land Rover problem. By we, I mean me, I'm on my own. The left-hand mirror does not like high speed. So I start off and it's sort of up here and then it's just flopping down. So my view at the moment, I'll give you a little peek. My view is just asphalt, which isn't great on the motorway. So I've got my penknife, got some duct tape, gonna see what magic I can work. I think I need an Allen key, which I don't have on my penknife, so I've gone for trusty duct tape. Lordy Lord.
it's like 30 centimetres of.
I have just arrived at a little town called Doorn. Pronunciation, not sure. But I am picking Oscar up from the station here. He's got the train from Amsterdam. And this seemed to work out best with timings and location. I've just picked up a couple of little pain au chocolat to surprise him for quite a late breakfast. It's currently midday and he should be getting in like 20 minutes. Yeah, that's the update. Fancy seeing you here. Successfully picked up Oscar and we are now driving to Reims. I need some help with my pronunciation. Nice to put a shirt on for me. Very smart. Little petrol stop. Whoops! We have a leak on Oscar's foot. We think it might be from the windscreen wipers and the torrential rain, which you can't really see. But Oscar's got very soggy socks. Vive la France! We have just arrived in Reims at the cutest Airbnb. And there was a biblical sleet storm as we arrived. But now, I don't know if you can see, the sun's coming out and there's the cathedral. Here's a little kitchenette, living room area. bed and wow, so cute. Oh, so nice. Could be in Paris. The view from this apartment is insane. There are some champagne houses here though. Ruinard. You know that one? You know that one?
I like that one on the corner with the bricks. Instagram from the shop.
We have just made a few very essential stops to get a charcuterie board to go with our champagne that we bought. So we've got champagne, we've got some cheese, and we have some baguette and some cured meat, which we are very excited to tuck into. And some more France.
And no parking ticket.
There's our fine selection of charcuterie. Oh, you look so cute! Oh, look at your hat! Honestly, our timing today couldn't have been more perfect. It sleeted / hailed when we were driving, and then the sun came out when we arrived in Reims, and we had a glorious walk, and we went to the cathedral, and then we got back home and it started raining again, and now we're headed out to dinner and it's clear skies again, so feeling very blessed. We're headed out for a burger that comes highly recommended.
London meal.
I think those are bonito flakes. So beautiful. What